Welcome to the city of Tokyo. This is the mass vaccination site in Otemachi. There's a lot of really interesting stories to tell you for the next 15-20 minutes or so. It says Vaccination right there, which is the vaccine. The arrows point the direction. If you're over the age of 65, you'll come here. And I'll tell you some of the criteria and some of the background stories on this. Now, I can't actually go inside, but I will describe to you what it looks like inside, as well as give you an overview of what this is all about, why they're doing this. Again, you need to have an inoculation ticket. I'll tell you the 3 criteria that are necessary for you to get jabbed. And I just showed a little bit before the Hato bus. These are the yellow buses. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Tokyo, Otemachi. The yellow Hato buses. This is a bus that is for tour groups, right? So if you come to Tokyo, you want to take a Hato bus tour and you get a chance to see the area. It's pretty convenient, and it's right outside of Tokyo Station. And when I was riding over to this vaccination center, I saw that people were being led right outside of the exit of Tokyo Station directly to the Hato buses. There were people holding signs. And so you could see these yellow Hato buses just filled with people over the age of 65. And it's kind of interesting to see the signs, free bus to the vaccine center, which is right there behind me. Those tents there tell the story. And I guess it's a really good thing, because Hato Bus is one of the companies that has been hard hit with the lack of tourists. I'm really happy to see the city of Tokyo utilizing companies that are hurting right now, struggling to do stuff like this. So, kudos to the government of Tokyo, to Governor Koike for this effort. Now, Tokyo is fighting hard right now to get to 1 million jabs a day. In order to do that, if they do that, by the 3rd week of August, they'll peak out at 700 and it'll start to go down according to the statistics. We want that because that would mean that Tokyo would be on the swing down before the Olympics. That's the target. Right now, we're struggling to get to 500,000 a day, but it's starting to ramp up. Hopefully we can get there at 600,000 jabs a day. We'll peak out in mid-October, which is after the Paralympics. That's not what the government wants. So the success of this maybe depends on the current government, because a lot of locals right now are very skeptical about holding the Tokyo Olympics. Thank you. Who do we got here? Air to the Ron. Here's some for zinc, vitamin C, and D. Thank you. And WX Turbo, I appreciate it. It's nice to see you in the house. So the 3 criteria necessary in order to get a jab here are: you must be over the age of 65 right now. You must not have gotten the Pfizer vaccine. I believe that they're giving the Moderna one here. And the other criteria is you must live in Kanagawa, Chiba, Tokyo, or Saitama. If you live in one of those 3 prefectures, you can get it. And you must have received an inoculation ticket in the mail from the local government. And if you have that, you can come here and get your jab. And it's very organized. Let's walk around right now. Well, I'll give you some more data. The local media's here and has been stopping people for interviews. I talked to a couple of older people, and they said that it didn't hurt. They looked pretty strong. They look pretty strong to me. Stronger than me. But I'm fascinated with how this process is working. And you can see the sign here, 65 years and older right now. They're very strictly adhering to these rules. So John can't walk here and just walk in and get a vaccine, a jab. That's not how it works. They're also checking. You can see they have a heat scanner. Well, they had it right there. An app that checks people's temperature as they walk in. It's also pretty fascinating. Michael Sasano's in the house. Glad to hear Japan is making headway to getting vaccinated and striving to get tourism back on track. Indeed. Now, this area is run by the Japan Self-Defense Force. All right, it's like the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines of Japan. And Japan, one of the reasons why Japan has been slow with the vaccine rollout, not just because they wanted a domestic testing of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine before use, which added 2 months onto the time that it was approved here. They just don't have the manpower to give those jabs. They don't have trained medical professionals. So they've enlisted the help of dentists to help jab people, give inoculations, shots. They also have asked the self-defense force, the military, to help to do it. And I'm hoping that they start asking convenience store clerks, because that would really change the dynamics of this. So for those joining us right now, you're looking live at the large-scale vaccination tents entrance for people over 65 to get their shots. Now, here's the thing with this. This is one of the largest vaccination centers in Tokyo, which is the largest city, one of the largest in the world. This center can only vaccinate 10,000 people a day right here. So that means, 300,000 a month? So that's less than 1 million in 3 months at this one spot. And this is the largest. So they're going to have to resort to more local places like universities, work sites, local areas, local parks, and try to get vaccinations done there. But these large-scale places are especially useful right now to getting people into one spot and getting all the self-defense force people into one spot and organizing it. They're also opening more mass-scale vaccination centers. One of them is at Yoyogi Park, which is going to be a viewing platform for the Olympics. But since there are no tourists coming, they've decided to turn that into a place where volunteers and police and firefighters can get vaccinated at that spot. Tsukiji, what used to be the Tsukiji Fish Market, is now becoming a mass vaccination center. It's a big parking lot right now, but by the beginning of July, I believe they're going to turn that back into a parking lot for the Olympics. This is a live view of the people walking into the vaccination center. It's pretty orderly, which you would expect nothing less in Japan. The people going in all over the age of 65 from Saitama, Chiba, Kanagawa, and Tokyo. Garrett, this is a new thing. I'm looking at the chat right now. This is a new thing. They're taking pages from the U.S., the stadium vaccinations, and a lot of the other countries that have had great success in vaccinating large amounts of people very quickly. If they don't do this right now, the public is so against the Tokyo Olympics. Without having a good number of people vaccinated and feeling safe, I don't know how they're going to safely be able to do it, even though they promise that everything's going to be really safe, but people just don't feel safe, and that's a lot of it, I think. Right now, the waiting time is 40 to 45 minutes, it seems like. They definitely need to keep increasing the rate, especially in the city of Tokyo, which is so crowded. It is and Osaka, it's so crowded. It is a place where of high risk. So you need to want to vaccinate this area very quickly. But you need to vaccinate everybody, really. This one, according to Kyoto News, is giving the Moderna vaccine. And for those that didn't hear the data the first time around, how you doing, everybody? If Japan can get 1 million vaccinations a day, then by the third week of August, they will peak and it'll start to go down, and the country will feel more safe going into the Olympics. Well, basically, size relief as the games start. If they do 600,000 a day, which is about where we are right now, it does not peak until the middle of October, which is after the Paralympics, which will cause a little bit of uneasiness, or a lot of uneasiness for the general public here. And I think if they can get to that 1 million number, then maybe they start to open up the venues a little bit more to people. Instead of having empty venues, they can start to allow people into it, and they would make the Olympics feel like the Olympics. But as it is right now, I don't see, if they can't raise the number of jabs, vaccinations per day, that they can have people in the stadiums or the venues. I'm not sure how they're going to hold it. And there's a lot of debate on that right now within the government, even the JOC. I've heard some rumors, again, the rumors, that they might not even, that there's a chance that they still cancel the Olympics, all right? So I'm not sure how this is going to go. It just kind of depends on a lot of things. Why they can't delay this till October, that makes a lot of sense for the sponsors to have more people watching, more people here. But I can see, I can't understand why. The 1964 Olympics were held in October, which is much better weather. There seems to be a rush to get it on time here at the end of July. And by October, no matter what, we will have herd immunity, and it'll be a lot better situation. That's what we're all hoping for, right? Well, that has not been the case here. It is very orderly, Ron. If you have questions, there are so many staff members here to help you get to where you're going. I'm pretty impressed by this coming here. I knew that Japan would do a really good job with it, but they do have the volunteers here. They do have people, medical staff, everybody is here. Just the numbers don't seem to be enough, though, for this one site. 10,000 a day puts it at less than 1 million for this one spot after 3 months. So there's a lot of work to do. We'll walk around here. This is also the entrance. People have been walking this way. I guess if you're in a tour group, you'll walk this way and enter through this door. People are coming out after being vaccinated too from this direction. Maybe a sigh of relief on some of these people's faces. I wouldn't say this is a parking area. This is the building right here. I've been in here. I think it was for taxes or something. This is a government building. This isn't a hospital or anything special. This is just a typical run-of-the-mill government building that they've cleared out a couple of floors for vaccinations. So I see a team of people coming this way, right at us. Joseph writes in here, 10,000 a day is quite a lot for one site. If you break it down, it's 1,250 per hour. That's pretty impressive, I guess. I really don't know what is good for each per day. I haven't heard of too many drive-through vaccination sites yet. Outside of the city of Tokyo, everybody has a car. That would make more sense to have drive-through vaccination centers. It makes a lot of sense for me, in my mind, to vaccinate families together, but I never understood why they make family members come on several trips. Like grandma will have to go first, and then the daughter will have to come 3 months later. It just, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. But vaccinate everybody in groups, that's the way I feel, but I'm not a doctor. So inside here, what's in there? The floor is green. It's a lot of partitions, white partitions. They don't go up to the ceiling. They're just temporary partitions. Inside there are some doctors. They're Japan's self-defense force. They're not doctors, but they look like doctors because they're in white robes and stuff. They have the needles and the jabs, and they're doing the Moderna one. And I think it was June 24th, people start coming back for their second shots. So right now they're really working hard to get everybody in there for their first shots if they're over 65, and then coming back on the 24th for their second inoculation. That's the plan anyways. And apparently anybody can apply and reserve online for this. If you have a pre-existing conditions or something that would make your system weak, you can get a doctor's note and apply with that, and depending on your age, doesn't really matter, but priority would be given to within your age group to those that have pre-existing conditions that would put them at risk. Jennifer French is in the house. Thanks for bringing us this live stream. Any other locations being made into vaccination centers? I've heard Tsukiji. There's a couple of other ones. Tsukiji is a parking lot that's going to be turned into a vaccination center, but turned back to a parking lot before the Olympics. Yoyogi Park, which I took you to a few days ago, was being set up as a mass-scale vaccination center, but I believe this is the first one here. This one crow is really bearing down on this center. Whoa. It's from the Ministry of Defense. Sounds like a religious thing, right? The ministry. So a lot of the people that are coming out look pretty happy. I see a glistening in their eyes. Could be the vaccine. It is a pretty hot day. It's in the over 30 degrees, which is the humidity is normal. It's not quite hot enough for it to be Japanese summer yet, but for the rainy season, this would be pretty hot. It's about 31 degrees in Tokyo, summer. And the people walking in right now have inoculation cards, finding which entrance they need to go to. In a very Japanese manner, they have all of these maps and arrows to tell you which direction to go. That's for the station, Kanda Station and Otemachi Station. But it can't seem, if you're used to the way that Japanese systems work like this, then it should be pretty easy to get around. I'm guessing Kanai and I will be vaccinated in a place like this. I'm not really sure, but we'll get a vaccination card from the ward that we live in. Tokyo has 23 wards. We live in Chuo ward. I used to live in Edogawa ward, and all 23 wards, I believe, will send out inoculation cards for people to make their reservations and go to a certain site near home. And Kanai's father, I believe, is getting vaccinated next month. He's in his 60s, so that means at me at 47, probably in August, I hope, fingers crossed. I almost considered going to Guam, but I would need to stay for quite a while. Toby's vaccinated because Toby's a crow, okay? It's up there in that tree. I think he's gone. Hey, Joe from Virginia Beach. How you doing? Yeah. Please make sure you please talk to your doctor before you get one. Because Joe had a reaction to the shots. Indeed, make sure you're in good physical shape. And it's always good to consult a doctor if you're worried about it. I've had the flu shots. Every other year I get one, maybe every 2 years. And sometimes I do have a stronger reaction to the flu shot. It just depends. I would believe that this is a stronger shot because it is a COVID. So I'm guessing that you might want to ask your doctor. I think a lot of people in the U.S. have gotten vaccinated who can at the moment. We don't have that luxury. I heard that Taiwan is getting 750,000 vaccinations from the United States as being a part of the ally with the U.S. Japan, I have not heard any information about that, any vaccines coming here. But we do have a partnership with Pfizer, buying, I don't know, about half the country will be receiving the Pfizer. And then the Moderna, they struck a deal with that. And I believe Prime Minister Suga, when he was in the United States last month, signed another deal with Pfizer, the CEO of Pfizer, to get more doses here to the country and into Japan. And there has been some news that Japan sent some vaccines to Thailand. Yeah, that could be possible as well. Pfizer, Moderna must be rolling in money. I'm sure that they are, but if they've done the work and they made a vaccine that does a good job, I hope that next time we have another pandemic, they're able to do it too. Mama Bay has just completed the Sinovac, which is the vaccines from China. Didn't feel any side effects, but a slight headache. Get whatever you can take. Sinovac is one of the ones from China. I know Sputnik is one that's very prevalent in other areas of Asia, and that's the Russian one. And get what you can get, you know. This is the mass vaccination site, large-scale vaccination site in Otemachi in Tokyo. And I came here just to check it out to see what the operation was like. It looks like it's going pretty smoothly. Again, 10,000 people can get vaccinated here per day. It goes on from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. apparently. They put up here. I'm trying to find the Hato bus. They put up here the times. Now she's starting to change the times for the vaccinations from now 2 to 4 p.m. So the inoculation cards you receive from your local area probably has that data on the card, so you want to hit the time that you're at. But, you know, just to reiterate, if Japan can get to 1 million vaccinations a day, they'll peak at the third week of August, which would mean the Olympics would be with herd immunity, and having the venues filled with people might be okay. But if it's 600,000 inoculations per day, Japan will have a hard time with this through the Olympics. And we just saw I just saw a military truck pull through, part of the self-defense force team here giving the injections. 600,000 shots a day, which is about where we are right now. We're a little bit underneath that, I believe. It was 485,000 last week. That would mean that this would be raging until the middle of October, when we peak out and the numbers start to come down. So fingers crossed that we get up to that number, but it's going to take a huge effort by the government because Japan just does not have that manpower, you know. Population has been decreasing for a long time, and medical staff, doctors, nurses, there's just not enough of them here. Saya M, our U.S. military base is offering vaccinations to U.S. citizens. Not at this time. I've already asked. I have friends at the air base, at Yokosuka, at the naval base. I know some people down in Iwakuni. I have been asking, but that is not an option currently, unfortunately. Yakult is here, giving drinks to the thirsty, which is nice. And they are using the Japan Self-Defense Force. This is entirely staffed by the Japan Self-Defense Force. I wouldn't say entirely. I think that there's probably some bureaucrats and other people in there making this work. But those giving the jabs, it's mostly the Japan Self-Defense Force. JSDF. They also do the Sapporo Snow Festival up there in Hokkaido, which is pretty cool. You can see the Japan Self-Defense Force. Sometimes they'll line up in military gear outside. You'll see what they created. That Sapporo Snow Festival was started by the Japan Self-Defense Force in the 1950s, I believe, which is pretty cool. This is the building, number 3, government building in Tokyo, that brown one. And I've been in here already for taxes or something way back in the day. I had to come here for some kind of government documentation when I started my business, I believe. But now, today, government building has been turned into a large-scale vaccination center. The Japanese media is here. They were interviewing people over there. You can see the guy with the hat that looks like mine. So what do you think? Do you think that this is enough? Oh, here comes a military truck coming in here. self-defense force. Is that vaccine inside of there? Truck filled with Moderna shots. How cool is that? Or the shots in there. The second one. Pretty interesting. Not sure which one they're in. So as I was saying, do you think this is enough? How do you feel about, now you've seen a little bit of the outside. Inside, it's basically volunteers distributing people to certain places to register, a very quick Q&A to help explain about the shot. They get in the jab. There's an observation area where they're looked after for a little bit, and then the elderly are guided to the buses, which are run by Hato Bus, which is a great story. Hato Bus was in the red. They weren't doing good business because all the tourists were gone. This is a bus that tourists like to get on for tours around the city. Those buses have been just idling in a parking lot, and now they're being put to use by the government for this. And it's great that they get a job and a contract from the government to shuttle people to this vaccination site. Pretty cool. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Is this similar to something that you've seen in your country? Do you think this is enough? 10,000 people at this one site, is that a lot or a little? I paid Docomo about, I don't know, like 10,000 yen a month or something. It's not that much for the 4G LTE. It's the Cadillac plan though. Need more sites, writes in Glenn. Still not enough, writes in Tic Tac 2930. Tortopoco mentions the micro-sized army truck. There will be more sites. Los Angeles County now has 765. I'm very afraid of the government from Japan. Give emergency status again. I'll just cancel they'll cancel the Olympic Games. I'm not sure they'll do that. I'm not sure what they're gonna do. Not enough vaccines, but they're getting there. Bob Joe writes in. Oakland Megasite was doing 8,000 a day at its peak, but I think they could do many more. Writes in Nostrabra. Thank you for that information. It's good to know that 10,000 a day is actually quite significant. I just wasn't sure. That's good to hear. A fair starting number, I guess, writes in Danny. More sites to rush things. Absolutely. Joy writes in here. They are now going door to door in Los Angeles. That's a great idea. It'll be fine. Ramp up seems like it can be fast. I'm very, very happy they got to 500, 600,000 inoculations. Here goes that Hato bus I was telling you about right now, filled with people over 65, shuttling them from Tokyo Station to the site. Chicago African writes in, more sites are needed. I would not take Sputnik, writes in Niu. I would, you know what, if that was the only one I could get, I'd probably take it. I would probably take it for peace of mind. They need to put it in pharmacies, hospital sites. RDJ, I also said convenience stores would be pretty good places to do it. Just set up a tent right outside the convenience stores. We have mobile units going out to the countryside, writes in Adney. Where are you watching from, Adney? Alan, I have not had access to the vaccine yet. No, not yet, but we're getting there. I have a lot of friends that went back to the United States. I've had friends that were not even American that went to the United States to get the vaccine. That's crazy, right? So there are tourists going to America to get vaccinated. They'll do the quarantine. They just want to get the vaccine. America is a place with easy access to it. And those friends have come back to Japan are fine and feeling very confident. I have a wife and a child and a job, and it would be hard for me to leave to do something like that. But if the situations were different, I would definitely be going to Guam and getting a Air V&V is what they call it. Like Airbnb, Air V&V, which is Air Vaccine and Vacation to Guam. Guam has a campaign asking American residents living in Asia to go to Guam and get your vaccine there. And the U.S. government has given some promotional money as well as a lot of vaccine to do just this, to help kickstart Guam's tourism program, attracting Americans back in there first. And I like that. But And it is close enough to do, but it's very hard. I think they're giving the Johnson & Johnson one just one shot, but there's still a quarantine time of 14 days to wait when coming back into Japan. Go to Hawaii is also an option. I might just go back to America, or back to where my parents live. Hawaii would be nice too. If I'm gonna quarantine, I'll quarantine in my childhood bed. Like I did when I was a kid with the flu. Amanda's watching all the way in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. If you'd like to, you can watch, write in where you're watching from. It's always nice to see the location. If you're shy about leaving a comment, that's a pretty easy one. Softball. Definitely click the like button. I might try to take you to some more vaccination sites. I think as the Olympics get closer and closer and Japan starts doing a better and better job at doing this, I'm somebody who always likes to focus on the positive, okay? It's been really tough to do that, but this is something that's positive, and I want people to take something positive away from this. So if I could show the world that Japan is doing an increasingly better job at doing this after all of the criticism that it's been receiving for a long time, then wow, I will do that. And it's funny because about 8-9 months ago, Japan was a star. It was a place where everything was going right, and now it's a place where things are very much, there's the Yakult lady bringing in drink. They still do that by person, right? The delivery by little carts like this of Yakult. They haven't changed in decades. Yakult's like these little teeny yogurt drinks, which are so nice. Yeah, I'm really want to focus on the positive. I'm going to be doing a Japan travel update tomorrow or Thursday. I've gotten some requests, and I've heard from Thomas, who's in the United Kingdom. Thomas is watching a viewer from the United Kingdom. He just recently got a student visa to come to Japan. It took him quite a long time to get that. I think there's just a massive backlog, and I'm going to send him a couple of messages. Thomas, if you're watching, you can share that information. If you want to, you can join me on Discord tomorrow or something, explain a little bit about it. But he's going to be staying in Okayama, and I've been in touch with him about student visas. He was able to get his from the UK, so he'll be here in Japan, finally, after waiting for quite a while. They just had a very massive backlog of student visas to process, but they are moving, because I know people who have them now. So it's good news for those that have been waiting for a visa and trying to get into Japan. You still have to quarantine, but it's moving now, and that's a very positive thing. Once again, the worst case scenario, Japan will peak by the middle of October with this, a few months after the United States, which is a shame because that's after the summer season. If Japan can get to that million number and exceed that, then this peaks in the middle or third week of August, which is when the Olympics start. That is huge. So everybody, we should be encouraging the Prime Minister Suga, to be fighting hard to get to that number of 1 million a day, because that's what the numbers say. We will be done or peaking at this by the third week of August, which would make the Olympics a lot more stress-free, because I live here, I got stress. And hopefully we can stop talking about this. We can stop talking about this. Look, the thing that's holding up tourism and stopping you from coming to Japan is this pandemic, and Japan needs to get a handle on it. So I could greet you here and get rid of those "you found me" cards that I made like 4 years ago. They've been sitting underneath on a shelf for a long time. Hey, Urze's here. Where I lived with my parents, there's a Yakult factory I visited twice back when I was a child. 10 out of 10 and would go there again. I would love to go and visit the Yakult factory. I'm fascinated not just with the drink itself, but with the way that they distribute that, and how they have not changed since the Showa era. It's just like this very cool traditional system of distributing it by like a Yakult lady who takes them into offices and stuff, delivers them door to door, like the milkman back in the 1950s. Thanks everybody for joining hit the like button if you're interested in seeing more of these vaccination centers and Japan travel updates. I'm going to do another one in about 48 hours time as I get some more information for everybody. But right here is the line for the vaccination for those 65 and over. You need to be in Tokyo, Kanagawa, Chiba, or Saitama. You need to have a vaccination card issued by your local government, and you need to be over the age of 65. And if you have pre-existing conditions that put you at risk, you can get an exception from the doctor and come and get the vaccine right away. They're vaccinating 10,000 people a day at this site. This is the government number 3 building in Tokyo's Otemachi region, which is about a 10-minute walk from Tokyo Station. There's free buses, the Hato bus, departing. I guess it's pretty scheduled. It's pretty every 15 minutes or so, departing from Tokyo Station, trucking old people here, which is awesome to see. They're getting their jabs and coming out a lot smoother, a lot happier. The masks covering those smiles. I would be smiling if I got it, because that means I can get back to work and not have to worry about getting sick or getting other people sick. My biggest fear with this was not so much me getting sick, but me one day getting sick, not knowing it, and getting other people sick and causing a chain reaction, which I watched enough movies. I don't want to be that guy. But again, with this rolling out, unless barring some unfortunate mutation or situation, I do think there's Uber Eats guy going by there. He's been busy. Question for those that are watching is, do you tip your Uber Eats guy? Japan, we never tip for anything. It's all included. But I did Uber Eats recently for the first time, and it asked for a tip. And I was confused by that because there's already a service charge. Australia says no, CatMess says yes. I'm just asking. Like, I think that the Uber guys are working, and girls are working pretty hard right now. So, I mean, I throw them something, but I don't know what would be average. Ryan tips. I throw them a little bit, because it's confusing, but it's nice to hear from you. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, tip them. Dallas, yes. Tipping in Japan, right? It's confusing. I've asked a lot of my other foreign friends, and they're confused too whether or not to tip. In the US, you would tip, but in Japan, you never tip at restaurants. That's you never tip a taxi driver. You don't tip for services in Japan, ever. So it's confusing. So maybe I've been throwing them a 5% tip because there's also a service charge in it. But it's just very confusing. But I know that they're working really hard. So depending on the order and how far that they're traveling, I throw in a little bit extra money, but to me, I'm not sure if it's something that's usual. In Japan, it's not. But it's good to ask and nobody's talked about it. Haven't seen any information like that. There's a lot of these people here with the signs, so you never can get lost. These volunteers are holding signs with arrows. That's what they do all day. And it says vaccine this way. It's very hard to get lost. Again, Japan does such an amazing job of getting people to the right spot. If you get in the general area, you will be found. Yeah. You will find a guide. Hello. Yay. Oh, thank you. Did you get a vaccination? Yeah.
No. I work here.
Wow. How is it inside?
Very busy.
Very busy.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Oh, she watches the show. She says it's very busy inside. Yeah. That's so nice. I'm glad that she's working there and helping out so many people. It's just a very good spirit. People coming together to help other people out in this time. And, we did this around the world last year, but, big shout out to all of the people on the front lines and give their time for other people like this in risky situations. I know with the vaccination out there, it's not as risky as before, but still, it's still a tough time. And I'm sure family members feel anxious if you're working in such an environment, but this is a good thing. And I'm very happy to have somebody stop and say hi. Not a lot of people have stopped to say hi to me. I'm a person that thrives on human hellos and love, and I can't get enough of that. So please come back to Japan. I was looking at the statistics for tourism here. For those joining us, we're outside of the large-scale Tokyo Vaccination Center in Otemachi. I was you can't hug people in a pandemic. But I was looking at the statistics for tourism to Japan. It's like after 2020, it's like gone really, really down. And this year, I think they're averaging maybe 10,000 tourists coming into Japan somehow a month. I don't know how they're getting in, but maybe they're family members or something. But I do know that the pie chart gives 3 countries over 50% of the tourists coming to Japan. Do you know what they are? The United States, on a pie chart of the tourists who come to Japan in 2019, is so small of a chunk of people. It's less than 10% of the tourists that come to Japan. And the US is a massive country with a very strong connection. Tom is right. China is the #1 place. Russians are not in that top listing. China, Korea, and Hong Kong. Those 3 countries make up the majority of tourism to Japan. And Taiwan is in there too, but those 3 would make up like 65%, okay? And then the rest of Asia, and then the West. So you see another Hato bus going by, bringing people from the Marunouchi exit of Tokyo Station to the vaccination center. So that means that of the people coming to visit Japan in the West, we have a lot of work to do. As a YouTuber from the United States, I got a lot of work to do to attract people to come to Japan, because still it's not it's not as popular to come to Japan yet, even though it's more popular than it ever has been. There's still a lot more that I can do to help to promote Japan to the rest of the world. So that's pretty, to me, that information to see Western country, people from the West are not as prevalent here as tourists to Japan, gives me hope that there's a lot more that I can do. And if you haven't already seen that new episode, that's starting to do a lot better. It's funny. The video is going like this. Eating bentos on the Shinkansen train up to Tohoku. I eat in the grand class, which is a step above the first class, with my friend Peter. And you can travel on an adventure. If you can't come to Japan, that episode is an adventure from Tokyo Station to the tip of Tohoku, eating bento on the Shinkansen. Beautiful drone shots. You kind of feel like you're there as you watch the scenery go by with a super wide angle lens, sitting in a regular class and the grand class. Leave me a comment that you came from Only in Japan Go. I'll make sure I'll give you a thumbs up and a heart sign. She's checking the sign. Yep, you got it right. You got it right. George writes in information you might need a booster shot. That's good information for people to check in on too. You definitely need that second shot depending on the vaccine you got. But yeah, just I think for tourism and for things to return to normal and for people to have peace of mind in the Olympics, Japan needs to get to that 1 million vaccinations per day mark. And this is a very promising site to see this large-scale vaccination center being able to get 10,000 people a day in this building here. That's a good thing. And coming down here and seeing it will help me give a better Japan travel update in a couple of days, having seen this. This is a good thing. And again, if you have any questions or you have any comments, leave them down below. I'll try to come back later on and see if I can get access to go in there. And if I do get my vaccination shot, I would like to be able to live stream that too. So I'll work with the government to see if I can get that to you, because I want people to feel also that Japan is working really hard to get right and get things back to normal. Seeing the U.S. getting back to normal, trust me. You don't have to trust me, in fact. It's making us all jealous. We're all jealous, and that is a reason to get vaccinated here. People who are on the fence are like, wait, the U.S. is going back to restaurants and walking around maskless. Maybe they shouldn't be, but some places, but that's amazing, and we want that too, so. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you in another live stream. I'll probably do that Japan travel update tomorrow or Thursday, depending on what opportunities there are for streaming tomorrow. But I'm be trying to ramp up the live streaming channel. The state of emergency in Japan is expected to go on until June 20th. So I'm not really going to be going on trips outside of Tokyo until the state of emergency is lifted, or I'm invited to go somewhere. All right, that's very important. I'm somebody who's in the eye of a lot of other sponsors and people and governments, local governments. So I want to do the right thing, and it's really hard to do that. And because I want to be out there traveling like a lot of other YouTubers too. But I'm still here. I take my temperature daily. I'm taking antigen tests to check if I am infected so I don't infect other people. So when I do travel, I have been tested, and I am taking daily temperature checks, which is required for me to do these jobs. So when you do see me out there, trust me, I'm taking super amounts of precaution. I'm coming out on sunny days, wearing double mask when I go inside, anything that I can do. I don't know if what percentage of it'll help other people, but I'm doing everything that I can possibly do besides staying home. And I'm doing a lot of that too. Stay safe, everybody. Have fun. Have a great week coming up, and I'll see you in another live stream real soon. Bye from the Vaccination Center here in Otemachi. Yeah, I'll see you on the Discord server. I'll do a fireside chat in about 3-4 minutes if you're up for it. Fireside chat, Discord. Mods, post a link.